Are you ready to learn how to start a whole business with ChatGPT? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I run a virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines named 2XU, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, when it comes to starting a business from scratch, I have done that a lot. Other than 2XU, which is my virtual assistant agency, I have 3 other businesses that I do run all digitally, and I've also helped other people launch their businesses. Other than that, I am also a huge bibliophile. I've read so many books on starting and growing a business. So I'm going to break down that process for you. So hopefully at the end of this video, you would have that process written out. And as a bonus, I'll be using ChatGPT the whole way through. So you guys have prompts that will aid you when it comes to brainstorming or creating things for this business that you want to start and launch. Now, when it comes to starting a business, the main thing you have to keep in mind is what is the problem that you're solving? Whenever you're starting a business, it's either that you are solving a problem or maintaining a solution. As a really good example of maintaining a solution, there's already Starbucks, and because Starbucks works, you know that you can create your own coffee shop. So you're maintaining a lifestyle. Now, when it comes to solving a problem, that is you are coming into, creating your product, creating your service because you've seen a problem that you can fill. So for example, for me, a lot of people didn't know how to hire and manage a virtual assistant, thus I created 2XU. So you're either, again, maintaining a lifestyle or you're solving a problem. So the steps that I'm going to go through with you today on how you can create your business is more or less in that world. Now, in using ChatGPT, if you've never used ChatGPT before, this is basically what it looks like at the start. And I've always given the intro that if you're going to use ChatGPT in the first place, you need to prime it. Don't put in your request or whatever it is you're asking. There is, yes, the example so you can use here, but I always recommend that you prime ChatGPT. And the way that you can do that is using the WOAH method. Now, the WOAH method is something I've completely made up, and it's basically W on it is the who and the what. So who you are, what you do, and you can even add who you do it for. And it's also then the O is the outcome. What expertise, what outcome, what output do you need from ChatGPT? A is just asking it, are you ready? And then the H usually is just the how. So if you want ChatGPT to answer you in a certain way, you can add at the very end of like, hey, I want you to be professional, I want you to be funny, blah, blah, blah. So to prepare this, I've just already created a prompt for you. I'm just pretending basically I am a freelance writer for women business coaches. So the who and the what I do and who I do it for. And I need your expertise in starting and growing a business and act as an expert business coach as I'm currently looking to start a business of my own. Are you ready? So I put the output on there, what I need from it, and then asking, are you ready? Now, the cool thing about this is on here, it will then generate the name of the bot, basically that you've created with ChatGPT. You can rename this. The thing that I always say also as a best practice is you want to create one bot, or what I like to call task GPT, for every kind of task that you're doing. But for this one, we're solely just asking ChatGPT to help us create the business. Now, the first part of creating a business is, other than, okay, I'm either going to business to maintain a lifestyle or solve a problem, then you want to start generating ideas of what that could be. So let's say, again, using the background that I've, the profile I put into ChatGPT is as a freelance writer for business coaches, maybe I've seen this one thing that I've seen, business coaches make as a mistake over and over again. So maybe I'm creating a business to support that. Maybe I've created this whole process and system where business coaches can just then forever keep creating content because of the system I've created. So then it's maintaining that lifestyle. So whatever that is, you need to start generating ideas. One of the things that I always try to do is I would literally just set a timer for 10 minutes or even 1 minute if you just need that jump start on my phone, and I will write down as many ideas as I can without judgment, without pausing, without like, hey, is this right? Is this already out there? Just generate ideas, because then you are starting to break out of your shell. You're not overthinking it. You're not basing it on other people's opinions or other people's businesses. Now, using ChatGPT to do that, I'm going to copy and paste this prompt of create 5 to 10 businesses that I can do with my current experience. Because we've used the WOAH method above, it already knows who we are, again, who we're currently targeting, and that's kind of where the experience comes from. So there, first off, right off the bat, is the content creation agency. There's also virtual assistant services. There's online course creation, branding and graphic design, book editing, so on and so forth. So I'll create those 10 because I was specific enough on the how. But let's say we're not quite sure. So the next step is, as you already have your list of ideas, is you want to start validating your ideas. It can't just be that you have this list of 10 to 15 ideas that you can do. You chose one. Let's say, like I said, I kind of rushed into picking podcast production, but you need to validate that one, people need it, and two, people will pay for it. Those are always the two ways or two things that you need to double check. A lot of people I see make this mistake so many times when they're starting a business, where they will just launch off into an idea without validating it. But you can use ChatGPT to do that as well. However, without ChatGPT, different ways that you can validate an idea is one, then you can start looking at other businesses and how successful they are. Of course, there's different measurements of success, but the main one is that they're getting clients, that they're getting people to pay for this. So you can go on Google Business Search, you can look at, let's say for podcast production, you've picked that one. You look for podcast production agencies, you look for people maybe that who run podcast production agencies. You can go onto LinkedIn to search for that job title. You can go on your Facebook and create a post like, hey, who do I know is in the podcast production world? That way, again, you're validating that this exists. Because if you're creating something that's one of a kind, it's never been done before, it's going to be really hard for you to actually launch it and do it, because you have to make sure that the market actually wants the thing that you are trying to put out. So on using ChatGPT to validate your ideas, so one of the things that I've just done here, just super quick, is of the 10 ideas, can you rank the ones that are validated and already working that can be launched in 30 days? So here I'm very specific with ChatGPT on what it is that I want to do. So then it will be creating that very output. So here it rewrote basically the parts of it. Content creation agency is still on top. Virtual assistant services. Social media management earlier wasn't, but it's now on the top 3. Podcast production is still 7. Oh no, it's actually swapped. It's actually now lower because social media management went up higher than that. So then it will also give you the ideas of how you can validate it, which is pretty nice and pretty cool. And of course, you can use any of the action steps I've just narrated and how you can validate a business idea. And basically, again, you can take the validation from ChatGPT, or again, just because we've kind of gone through just maybe picking podcast production, we'll use that as a business idea. Now, next thing you want to make sure that you do is to create your ideal audience. Now that you have what you're going to do, what it is that you're hoping to create, you need to see who is actually going to buy it. Now, we can go back to, for example, who you're currently serving now, because then you know their industry, you know what their wants are, you know what their pains are, you know why they would need the kind of service or business that you're trying to create. So you can go ahead and write up, hey, where are they coming from? Like, where are their address, the areas around the world, what cities are they living in, what kind of professions do they have, what kind of background do they have, also maybe their age, their gender, and what kind of are their preferences, what are the things that like to do on the weekends. There's also like different things that you can do where you create like what are their 99 problems, and then looking at the ways of how your company now solves them. So this is just a deep dive of creating your ideal audience, so it's so clear to you in your head who is it that you're creating this for? Almost as if when you're writing a blog post, you have a clear image of who you're talking to and writing this blog post for. So that's kind of the goal and the idea when it comes to creating your ideal audience. Now, of course, with ChatGPT, we can use this prompt. So it's just basically who would be the ideal audience for this business idea. Let's grab podcast production and create a full profile that can be shared with our sales and marketing team. This way, it's not just in your head, it's an actual document that you can now give to other people. So here, target audience would be women business coaches. Again, going back to the industry you already know, female, 25 to 55, bachelor's degree or higher in English-speaking countries. These are the psychographics, their key characteristics, messaging and value proposition. So it's already actually breaking down more than what I asked for, but this is giving you a really good idea of like, hey, this is the person that I'm creating this for. So then there's clarity on the assets you create, on the copy or everything else that you create for this person. Next is, once you have your idea, you have your target audience, you actually want to break down what you are willing to deliver. What are your MVP and your deliverables? So MVP stands for minimum viable product. So what is the minimum thing that you can do, that you can sell, or you can push basically, so that you can now start delivering this to your target audience. You want to do this because this is another stage of validating that someone actually wants what it is you're going to create or produce. So it could be, let's say, for the podcast production idea, it could be the MVP is I will simply do the transcription of the audio basically of the current podcasts that you have. That may be the first service that you'll do, is you're just transcribing podcasts that are already out, making into a blog post, caption, so on and so forth. A quick and easy way that you can do this with ChatGPT is just using the prompt, can you create the MVP for, and I'm going to copy and paste again, just podcast production, as well as the deliverables to the target audience. Now, ChatGPT knows who your target audience is because you wrote it with ChatGPT. So then clicking enter on that. So then it's writing up the MVP. So this is now the MVP for podcast production service. You'll do the initial consultation, maybe just doing a podcast setup assistance. It could be episode recording and editing, show notes and descriptions, which is what I said earlier. And again, we'll write out the deliverables to the target audience. So depending on what you actually know and what you're willing to deliver and provide, you can pick and choose from this list already from ChatGPT to be able to create your deliverable. So as a really good example, when I was starting 2XU, my only deliverable was just hiring and managing. That's it. We didn't even have the training component of it, which is now a big part of 2XU, is we train a lot of our virtual assistants in the skills and the tools that they need, but we just started with just hiring and managing. That's it. And that was our MVP. And now as we've grown, we've now added different things to it. So choose what is the minimum thing that you can do to test out your service or your product to see if people are even interested in the first place. Next is create your sales pitch. Now, if you have no idea what a sales pitch is, it's basically the 30-second to 1-minute introduction of your business. Let's say you met someone at a networking event, or this is going to be the bio that's going to be on your speaker profile, for example. That is what your sales pitch is. So it's a good way to give someone an idea of who you are and what you do without overloading them with all of the other information. So for example, for 2XU, our quick and easy sales pitch is we hire and train AI-enabled executive assistants with a custom business operating system to turn entrepreneurs from solopreneurs to actual business owners. That's basically my quick sales pitch right there. So depending on the kind of business that you picked, or of course, what makes sense for you, you can experiment this. Our sales pitch, again, has changed so many times in the last couple of years. So your first one might not be amazing, but of course we have ChatGPT to make that a little bit easier. So a prompt that you can put in is, can you write a sales pitch as if written by Zig Ziglar? So Zig Ziglar, if you guys have no idea who that is one of the people I look up to in like the sales world. So I will rewrite that. Can you write the sales pitch for the business? And then usually it will write this really long sales pitch because I wasn't specific enough. So I'm going to stop generating actually. And I'm going to put up here, can you create a 30-second sales pitch for the business as written by Zig Ziglar? So as you see, it kind of disappeared what it was writing, but you can always bring it back later on. But I'm now just asking, hey, can you create the 30-second pitch version of this? So it's writing it out. It's still a little bit too long. I don't think you can say this all in 30 seconds. So we can put in, you write a 1-sentence version of this. So then, right there, unleash the power of podcasting to skyrocket your coaching practice with our meticulously crafted podcast production services designed to captivate your audience, establish your authority, and attract a flood of new clients. Isn't that so cool and so good? And again, you summarized what was here into just a 30-second pitch, and now you have a pitch that you can use to introduce your product or your service. Next, of course, you want to start creating the copy around your business. So what this is basically, aside now from the sales pitch, how else are you going to explain your business to other people? How else are you going to expand on it? A really good way is just creating a brochure. So then you have a good guideline on how you actually can introduce and describe your business to your target audience. So a good prompt that you can use inside of ChatGPT is essentially, can you create the brochure to introduce the business based on the deliverables and the sales pitch? And so again, because it does know what our sales pitch is, it knows what our deliverables are, it will then just take that. And now you have like a quick brochure that you can create. You know, the page 1 is unleash the power of podcasting for your coaching practice. Page 2 is introduction. Page 3 is this. Page 4 is that. and then this is the back page. So now you can have copy that you can start creating more for your business. So then again, it's easy for you to introduce and talk about your business to other people. Next is you need to start generating assets. Now, assets is basically a wide range. It could be just literally your domain, your logo, your branding kit. It could also be your dashboards, your sales dashboards, your finance dashboards, so on and so forth. Inside of 2XU, we have a list of 74 assets that you can create within your business in order to scale it. But basically for this, let's go ahead and first thing is we'll ask it to generate domain. So let's say you don't actually have a name for your business yet, which for this one we actually don't. So we'll put it, can you create a list of domains that aren't taken yet that I can use for this business? So this one I can now go into GoDaddy, I can go into name search, everywhere else. Namecheap, I mean, and basically go ahead and test if these already exist. And let's say that I'm going to pick one of them. Let's say I want to go with podcastboosters.com. That's going to be the name for the business. Now I've named my business, and you can ask ChatGPT to make this list longer or shorter, up to you. But the other asset that you can create with ChatGPT, or that you should create to start up your business, is your logo. So your logo is basically, again, of course, the representative of your business. Again, you can always change this. 2XU's logos have also changed since the startup. But basically, I put in, can you create a logo for the business? And we put podcast boosters. And instructions I can give to a freelance graphic artist for them to create. So then it will generate essentially just like it usually is about very generic, but it's up to you how you want your logo to look like. Again, this is a way that you are representing your business, so it has to be a little bit accurate for that. Instead of 2XU, our logo is 2, and then the X are 2 people holding hands, which will help you basically 2XU. So that's kind of how quick and easy it was for us. But here it's writing out, hey, the logo should convey the essence of podcasting, growth, and empowerment. It should incorporate elements that symbolize sound waves, microphones, blah, blah, blah. But now you can get this, edit this, and then send this to a freelance graphic artist. Or you can go, of course, on Canva to be able to sign up and create your own logo. But this gives you a really good idea on what it can look like. Another asset you can create, of course, is then your brand guidelines. So your brand guidelines is basically a guideline not just for yourself, but for other people if they start creating content or interact with other people as your business. This is just one of the ways that you can just show to other people, like, hey, this is the logo usage, this is the color palette that we'll be using, this is the typography. You can see that it has insert font name there because ideally you'll be the one choosing this. Again, you can ask ChatGPT for best examples of fonts, but then you can use this now as your brand guideline. And finally, a really good asset that you can create with ChatGPT as well for your business are, again, just dashboards. So these could be sales dashboards, finance dashboards, so on and so forth. It's a way for you to check if your business is alive and breathing. So I'm going to put in, what kind of dashboard should I create in order to monitor the business? And of course, it will create just that. You need a financial dashboard, you need a client dashboard, you need a production dashboard, so on and so forth. Again, custom to the business that we are currently creating with ChatGPT. That's how quick and easy it can be. Of course, to do the execution of this, it has to be a little bit human. Of course, there's a lot of AI tools out there where you can create sheets and dashboards through AI, but this is just a good list for you to now start going through. And of course, finally, we've gone to this point where we can now start going ahead and actually taking action and break down priorities. Now, this is usually the spot where people get stuck in, is actually execution. They put in so much time and effort in building their ideas, validating their ideas, but they don't actually execute. It's actually one of the most important parts of starting a business. So when it comes to execution, you need to go ahead and look at basically all of the assets that you now have created within ChatGPT. And honestly, your first priority should be getting your first dollar. That's it. Nothing else matters. If you don't get your first dollar in your business within 30 days, that business does not exist. That business cannot keep going. So it is basically your priority now to make your first dollar, to sign your first client and actually have them pay, because nothing else matters other than that. Okay? Now, if you're still unsure what to do, what to prioritize, of course you can ask ChatGPT to do it for you. Basically, based on everything we've discussed so far, can you break down my next 7 to 30 days in order to launch the business and get my first sale? Can be broken down to daily and weekly priorities. This way, you have a bot telling you what to do, acting as your business coach, and probably, if you follow this to a T, you'll probably get somewhere. You'll probably get your first sale. But again, your focus as now a business owner should be getting to that first dollar. So here we have the, set up the business infrastructure, register it, so on and so forth, create the business plan, set up the workspace, define your brand identity, hire freelance graphic artists, all the good stuff that we talked about earlier, develop the website, write a compelling website content to writing your copy, create social media profiles, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So with this, hopefully you'll have a 30-day process that you can follow. But again, if you can even shorten it to like on the second day, you already have someone who's willing to pay you and have paid you, that's it. You're now a business owner. You're now exchanging your services and your time to be able to give value to other people. Hopefully this whole video, as long as it is, has given you a really good idea on how to start your business in 2023 using ChatGPT, and has given you a lot of ideas. I hope you guys comment below what ideas you guys came up with. I would love to know. And of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!